Hey, Goat Knucklers, it's Flo with Goat Knuckle Talk with Flo. And, hey, we're on again the next night. This is STS 30. And Lisa Nolan, my co host. Who's our guest?
None other than world famous Danny Andrews.
Yes, sir.
Welcome back, Danny. We're
Thank
so
you.
glad-
Sure enjoyed our last visit over a year ago, and looking forward to tonight.
we are so happy that you joined us for this special episode of our program. I think our fans and viewers are going to be really delighted with the information you have to share with us tonight.
Thanks.
Yes, that's is it what annual? Is it the fourth?
Fourth,
Fifth?
yeah, we actually had two inductions last year. We had to kind of split them up, but we're still calling this the fourth induction.
Fourth annual of the
Right.
Plainview High School Athletic Hall of Honor,
That's
correct?
correct. That's correct.
Oh, wow. Yeah. And it's the event's next weekend, correct?
Next weekend, next Friday night, it'll be before the game. We've typically had it at halftime, but because they have senior night and a lot of activities going on, we're going to do it right before the game. So hopefully the crowd will be in and settled, and we'll recognize the folks and move on.
Is that going to delay the game any?
Now, well, it may be a little bit. I talked to White Martinez, the football coach, and he said he'd let the officials know if there's going to be any big delay, but I don't think it will be.
Well, good.
And are
Well,
you the
go
presenter?
ahead.
You present? Are you the presenter of the awards?
I do the PA, and we have a couple of our folks help out with that down in the field.
Okay.
Yeah, so but I make the introductions.
Well, I'm live on my Facebook page, but it's not going to let me change it to from private to or only me. Probably afterwards, so I got to figure that out this weekend how I can stream it onto the Facebook page. But anyway, hey guys, so yes, Danny Andrews. So let's get the party started. Let's bring up some of these guys, some of these inductees up, and if you could just briefly talk about them. So
Okay,
here's the
Bobby
first one.
Davis, 1954 graduate of Plainview High School, went on to play at WT, led them to the Tangerine Bowl victory in 1958 down in Florida, and then wound up being a very successful coach for about 38 years, won over 250 games, very involved in the Texas High School Coaches Association, and of course down at Friendship, he won 150 games, and has boys that went on to be administrators and coaches, following the dad's footsteps. And of course, his wife, Del Marie Duncan, was a Plainview High School graduate as well. So Bobby, unfortunately, has passed away last year, but glad to induct him into the fourth class of the Plainview High School Athletic Hall of Honor.
Is any of his family members going to show up?
Yes, Del Marie's going to be here, and I think all of his boys will be here, and so we're looking forward to that. They'll be accepting on their dad's behalf.
So real quick, do they get like a plaque or
Yes, yeah, we have a framed plaque. It's the same information that's on the wall of the display there at the north end of Plainview High School, Plainview Junior High, and then that's immediately south of the stadium. And of course, the reception will be there from 4:30 to 6. And so we invite everybody to come and be a part of that and enjoy, get to meet the inductees and take pictures and just renew some old acquaintances, hopefully.
Oh, cool. Well, here's our next the next inductee.
That's Damian Nails. Damian, back-to-back 1,000-yard runner in 1992 and 93 when Plainview won 11 games each year. He passed Royce Coleman's school record on a very cold afternoon down at Lowry Field, and we beat Andrews that afternoon. And he's really great running back. By the way, he is the facilities manager at Covenant Hospital Plainview, and really a great guy and a very humble guy, and really a star for the football team. So looking for some other information about Damien. He, of course, was a co-MVP as his senior year. Had 217 yards rushing against Levelland one night, and had over 3,000 yards combined in his and 31 touchdowns in his 2 years on the varsity. So he was really an outstanding player for those two Bulldog teams. That one went to the regionals, and the next year they got beat out in the area game.
So did he beat Royce's record
Yeah, he had
slightly, or was it pretty?
Royce had 1,650 yards, and Damien had 1,823, I believe. Maybe he actually broke it the previous year, but yeah, he had 1,741 yards as a junior, and then beat that the next year with 1,823 yards. So he really had a great career for 2 years there with the Bulldogs.
Is this
Of course,
physique like Royce's, or is he
no, Royce was a
slender?
big, strong, almost a fullback type, and Damien a little smaller and a little more of a scat back type, and so they, we had really a pretty good run of some great running backs in Plainview for really over about a 20-year period. We had some really outstanding runners.
Did
Good.
he go on to play college ball?
No, he never played college ball. Just he thought about trying out, and I think he just decided that college wasn't for him, so he did not play college ball.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Let's go to the next one. Bear with me.
So while Michael's pulling that up, how far is the drive from Burleson to Plainview?
5.5 hours, and their scenery never changes.
No, it doesn't.
It is 339 miles, and you can get there on about a tank of gas. Okay, that's the 1993-94 Plainview High School State Championship boys team, the first boys team to win a state championship, and still the only one of a boys team, coached by Carl Earlbeck. That was Carl's last season, and they finished 34-3. They ran through district at I think a 10-0 record, and went on to win the playoff games over Borger, Sweetwater, Justin Northwest, Wichita Falls, and then they beat Dallas Lincoln in the state semifinals down at the Irwin Center, which of course has been torn down now at the University of Texas. And then against Austin Anderson, they put a little dipsy doodle play in, a little inbounds play to Marcus Williams, and he laid it off to Rob Bass, and Rob laid it in with 1 second left and beat Austin Anderson 54-52. Just an incredible game, and really just an outstanding bunch of players on that team. Let me run through right quick. Michael O'Neill, Scott Parr, Troy Bryant, Marcus Williams, Rob Bass, Stephen Ridley, Mickey Marshall, Joel Starry, Juan Gomez, Ruben De Leon, D.B. Ray, Jairus Sansom, and Stephen Gonzalez. The coaches were Carl Earlbeck, John Smith, Tracy Summers, and David Manchie. And that was just really a great season. A lot of fun watching that team. They had a high octane offense. They scored 119 points against Hobbs one night to set a school record, and so they were really kind of brought the house down. Stephen Ridley was all state in all state tournament, and he and DB.
Guess what?
Oh, there we go.
Situation. So
You got a phone call, a bit.
yeah, sorry.
It's okay.
Did any of these young fellas end up playing college basketball?
Yeah, let's see. Of course, Stephen played football, and I'm really DB Ray was starting point guard at the University of Missouri, and maybe a couple other guys. I don't remember whether Marcus Williams played college ball or not. He should have if he didn't. But really a very talented bunch of guys, and some of them may have played that just kind of skipped my mind right now. But of course, Carl Earlbeck was going to retire, and it wound up eventually coaching out at Plainview Christian. It led them to, I believe, a championship, and coached volleyball. And then he went down to Monterey and helped the girls program for a while. And then he went to Hart and coached for several years, and finally won over 1,000 games in his career. And of course, he's passed away, and he is a member of the Hall of Honor. So it's going to be an exciting time to see some of those guys back next weekend.
How many have committed?
Well, really only two that I know of for sure. Well, there'll be three because Scott Parr was on that team, and of course Scott's going into the Hall of Honor. And but Rob Bass still lives in Plainview, and the rest of the guys I'm not sure where they live. But Marcus lives in Lubbock, and he said he was going to try to make it. So hopefully there'll be several that'll be able to show up that maybe we hadn't anticipated.
Yeah, hopefully they'll show up. Okay.
The sad thing is we all lose contact with each other sometime, even with social media, to say, hey, I want to get the word out. Hope you heard about it, because sometimes people who don't do Facebook or don't do much social media may not even be aware of the award.
Absolutely.
Well, hopefully we can help that along with our show tonight.
Yeah.
Let's bring out this nice looking gentleman here.
Steve Parr, Steve, the longest tenured coach in Plainview High School history with 11 years, and wound up tying for the most wins with 63 with Greg Sherwood. I did not realize until I talked to Steve this year, don't know how it got past me, that he played high school football for Greg Sherwood. Wound up being back on his staff for several years and then succeeded him as the head football coach in 1988. Got us into 4 playoff games. And went to the state semifinals, one game away from state in 1998. Got beat down at Jones Stadium by Grapevine, 23-16, I believe the final, 23-19 maybe. Anyway, outstanding coach. Then went on to Paladuro for 17 years, and had coached in Slayton before, and he had 18 teams make the playoffs. So very successful career for him. In Slayton, Plainview, and at Amarillo Paladuro. And
Did
he's
he?
retired now and lives down at Granbury.
Did he? Did he? Uh, for Snyder, were they? Did he change it to Angry Black?
No,
Do you know?
no, I think there was a coach that left Plainview that adopted that Angry Black someplace, maybe at Post or someplace.
Okay.
And
Yeah, I thought it was him.
but
Okay.
I think that might have been Wendy Williams, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. All right. Well, let's bring another. Let's just keep it in the family. Let's see. Let's bring in this gentleman.
That's Scott Parr, the oldest son. Was the quarterback on those 2 playoff teams back in 92 and 93. He had a pretty good career as a quarterback. They were mostly a running team, but he was 26 of 76 for 685 yards and 10 touchdowns. Then went on to a very uh, outstanding career. He actually was kind of a player coach at Hardin Simmons, and didn't really play a lot, but I think really kind of got his career started. But he has been an assistant at places like Louisiana Tech, Eastern Illinois, West Texas A&M, Navarro, and also, of course, was the head coach at down at Navarro Junior College, and they won their conference championship in 2019 and played in what they call the Scooters Coffee Bowl. And then he is now the head football coach at the University of Texas A&M University Kingsville in his first year. So he is an outstanding young man. Graduated in 1995, and of course, not only played football but also played on those outstanding basketball teams. You know, Plainview went to the semifinals in 1993 and got beat on a 3-point shot by Dallas Lincoln at the buzzer, then came back and won the state championship the next year. And so Scott was a member of both of those teams. But he was really known for developing high octane offenses that might average, nearly 500 yards passing and or rushing and passing and about 40 points a game. So nothing's changed. He's still a believer. His dad was more of a running coach, and he's more of a passing coach, I think.
Kind of like Mike Leach. It would.
Yeah,
Okay.
probably a little bit more in that kind of deal. Yeah,
Now, is Seth Parr related to them?
yeah, he's the brother. We'll talk about him next, I
He's
think.
next.
Okay. Okay. This is a legendary family.
Yes, it is. He is next.
Yeah, Seth's down at Anna High School. This is his 5th year. He's off to a 5-2 start this year. He's 49-11 in his career. And he, of course, played quarterback for his dad, and then went on to build a pretty impressive career. Played a little football, I think, at McMurray, and then he got to be a student coach and wound up coaching at Amarillo Caprock against his dad, who was over at Paladuro, and got the Longhorns the first district championship since 1975, and that was in 2010, I believe. And then he went on to Lubbock Coronado and got them into 3 district championships and 5 playoffs. And they won 10 games 4 out of their 5 seasons, and went to regionals in 2017. And said, like I said, in the last 4 years, he's been at Anna with a record of now 49-11, 2 district championships, and won the state championship in 2023. So the family is a pretty impressive record to all go into the Hall of Honor together.
chip off the old block. He looks the most like his dad, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah, he sure does. Yeah.
All you're missing is the grandsons. They're probably not old enough, but they'll be
No.
they'll be there soon.
I imagine that's the case. Sure will be.
Well, him and his brother. You said both of them were quarterbacks, correct?
Right.
What did they have? Big physiques? Physiques? Were they
No.
tall?
No. Scott was Seth's a little bitty guy, really, and Scott a little bigger, but neither one of them were, about 5'10" at the most, and Seth might have been not more than about 5'8" or 5'9". So
Okay.
not big guys at all. Yeah.
Now I know this gentleman. I remember he was I think he was one of the Broncos coaches in Tiger League back when I was playing Tiger League.
That's right. That's my dear friend Tom Hall, who passed away in 2022. Tom was a first baseman. They came out for baseball when we were seniors, and they nearly ran him to death trying to get him in shape because he hadn't played baseball much. But he wound up being the first baseman, led the team in batting, went on to WT, and decided to be a broadcaster, and came back and helped Tut Tallwater, the legendary broadcaster for Plainview, helped him do the 1970-71 team that went to state in basketball. And then wound up going out to Wayland, broadcast Wayland basketball for 18 years. Went to KKYN, was there 12 years, and broadcast the 3 state championship basketball teams for the Lady Bulldogs. And also when he was at Wayland, he broadcast national championship games a couple of times. And of course, he had football and baseball playoff teams that he broadcast. And he and I did Plainview High School football together for 11 and a half years. Then we went to Wayland, and he did them for 3 years. And he told me one day, he said, "Danny, I think I'm through." So I took over and broadcast the last 3 or 4 years before I left and moved down to Burleson. But Tom was a tremendous person. Coached Little Dribblers All-Stars to the national championship. He coached the Lady Air summer team for 19 years. Then he coached Plainview Christian Lady Eagles for 4 years. I think he coached a little bit down at Kingdom Prep at Lubbock. And of course, he was inducted into the Wayland Athletics Hall of Honor as a supporter in 2007. So really a great guy. And I'm sorry Tom won't be around to receive that honor personally, but his wife Linda will be accepting on his behalf.
Okay, I remember he had a big, thick mustache back when he was coaching us.
Yeah, he probably
back
did. Had a lot of hair back at one time, but he lost it all toward the end.
Yeah, it's like 78, 79. Is that when we were in 6th grade, Lisa? I think.
No, 78. We were freshmen in high school.
No.
We were in 6th grade. In 6th grade, it was 75 in 6th grade.
Okay, yeah.
How soon we forget our own history.
I don't know. It's many moons ago. Well,
that's right.
Congratulations to Tom. He was a good man.
Yes.
Okay, and let's see. I think we have 2 more left.
Right.
And this gentleman here.
That's Zoe Simpson. Zoe graduated in 1971. He was a wide receiver for the Bulldogs. I remember Coach, he's a little guy, but extremely fast. And Coach Bill Davis said, we're going to put as little equipment on him as possible to try to take advantage of his ability to run. But I think he got hurt most of the season. And anyway, he comes back and wins the district championship in track. But what he did after that was pretty amazing. He went on to Rice and was the Southwest Conference 100-yard dash champion when they were still running that. And lettered 4 years. And he was an NCAA qualifier 3 times, and also qualified for the United States Track and Field Federation sprints. And he was real close to getting to go to the Olympics. Then he won some awards at Rice. And then as a coach, he had an 18-year career, I believe maybe longer than that, at Victoria and Humble Kingwood. And he was a great coach in both cross country and in track. And he won 16 cross country district titles, 9 regional, and 8 state championships. And in track, he won 12 district championships and 4 regional championships, and had a lot of individuals. So had an incredible career. He's has 2 track meets that are named for him, and he's the retired athletic director of the Humble Independent School District.
Oh, wow. It's just right down not right down the road, but it's on the other side where I live. I live on the northwest of Houston. That's on the northeast side of
Right.
Houston.
Yeah. Zoe is he's like the rest of us. He didn't look like he did when he was in high school. I didn't really recognize him with that beard and no hair. He was thin. I think he had pretty thin hair even in high school. But anyway, I'm looking forward to seeing him. He's a great gentleman, I'll tell you.
What an
Good.
accomplished career, both as
Yeah.
an athlete and as a coach.
Yeah, he really was. And he also was a long time kind of a music director in his church, or worked with youth, and so a great Christian example as well, and as are most of these guys. So it was just really neat. Zoe Simpson, Randy Lightfoot, and Tim Sun all were kind of contemporaries in 70, 71. And so those guys all went on to have incredible athletic careers. Tim at Baylor, Zoe at Rice, and Randy, of course, was in that class 2 years ago. Was at the University of Texas, and then came back to Wayland. So some great track athletes as well. By the way, just as a matter of information, I kind of went through today. As far as people that have been kind of honored so far, we've had, and some of these guys have overlapped a little bit in both football and basketball or baseball. Had 17 in football, 15 basketball, 4 baseball, 8 in track, 1 golf, 9 coaches, 2 supporters, 2 team basketball, and 1 team football. And so we will of course be continuing to honor some teams as we go through in the coming years.
We have our last one,
Okay.
and we'll, Mr.
I know who that is. That's
Devin
Royce
Harris.
Coleman. Hey, like that hat. That's pretty
I
cool.
love
Royce was a 1979 graduate, was an all-stater, ran 238 times for 1,650 yards and 23 touchdowns. In his career, he had 2,109 yards and 34 touchdowns. Played in the Texas High School All-Star game down at Fort Worth after he graduated. He was the Laverne Roach Award winner. That's always a huge honor at Plainview High School, given by the Noon Optimist Club in honor of a person who's certainly on our watch list for the Hall of Honor. That was Laverne Roach, who was the 1947 Rookie of the Year by Ring Magazine as a middleweight fighter, and unfortunately died in the ring of injury suffered in the ring in 1950. Royce went on to play some at Oklahoma, broke his ankle. I think he was doing pretty well. Played on 2 Orange Bowl championship teams for Barry Switzer, and then he transferred to Northwestern Oklahoma, where he was all conference twice. He had a tryouts with the San Antonio Gunslingers of the USFL and the Cowboys and the Broncos in the NFL. So he's a retired machinist for Hexcel Corporation. That's an aerospace company. Lives in Casa Grande, Arizona, and he'll be back with an entourage a week from Friday night.
Yeah. Question about him. If he could remember back when he was playing with Sherwood for that first year, the magical year.
Right.
Did he play all of the games, or if they were in a big lead, did Sherwood sit him down for a while? I mean, could he had more yards or touchdowns? In other words.
Well, I don't really remember that. That was the year I got promoted to editor, and so I was not covering the games per se that year. But I remember, he stepped in I think where the water spout was going into practice from practice the week we played out at El Paso, and they didn't think he was going to play. Well, he just said he prayed about it, and he wound up rushing for about 160 yards that day and 3 touchdowns. And of course, Odessa Permian held him down in the semifinal game down at Lubbock. But he was a hoss. He had a 96-yard touchdown run against Tascosa that was the school record for many, many years, and I think it was eventually broken. But anyway, he was a hoss. Now you talk about a big one. He weighed probably 200, maybe 205, 210. I can't remember, but he was one of those big ones.
Nice.
He definitely had presence.
Yeah, he did.
High
And
school,
really,
he had a big presence.
yeah, good guy, and was always laughing and
Yeah.
full of fun. Yeah. So we've got we're really proud of the class. There's plenty of very deserving people still on the list, and we intended to pare down just a little bit this year to not have quite as many. But when you have a a fairly new organization. If you don't get quite a few in right at the first, it'd take you forever to build up much of a class. So we look forward to getting back to work first part of the year or in the spring anyway to elect the next class, and we have lots of good folks on the list. And as always, I invite people to nominate someone that we may have overlooked, or to send us extra information they might know, because sometimes we didn't try to sit down and get everybody's information, every bit of information on them. And so sometimes it depends on, as with any committee, who knows who the best. And we tried to have folks on there from, all the way back into the 50s who would have known people back in the early days, and then coming forward. So, so it's inexact science. We didn't set up any rules that said you have to be out of school for so many years. You have to play college ball, or you have to do this or that. It's just we put the names on the list and let the voters pick.
Well, it would be nice if you guys would also look into the managers. It's the high school manager, the kids. Like I think it's Tim Johnson. I think he was a manager for the early Bulldogs, Angry Red. I know Brian Harrington, our classmate. He was a manager for the baseball team 4 years. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know that would.
Well, those kind of guys certainly get overlooked since they weren't athletes, and that's
right.
But there have been supporters, and there's other people that could be nominated. So we certainly would consider anybody that's the name is sent in, and they can send those to me at. My address is 11925 Belgrove Road in Burleson, Texas. You can probably look that up someplace and find that if you can't remember. Or Andrews D 1949 at Gmail. If you just want to say, hey, is so and so on the list? Because somebody said the other day they were surprised that John Horn wasn't on the list. Well, John played on the pro golf tour for a brief amount of time. Was a quarterback for the Bulldogs back in the 70s. That was back when we were just running the ball most of the time. But anyway, John, an excellent golfer. Jim Nance, this great sportscaster for CBS, said that John Horn's the greatest putter he ever saw. Well, this guy thought, why isn't he on there? Well, he is on there. So sometimes people don't know, or they assume, well, I haven't heard his name, that they're not on the list. But we've got a lot of good names, and yet again, there could be somebody we've just flat overlooked. We hope not, but. And eventually hope to have some tennis players and volleyball players and softball players, because those are folks that are not they're on the list. They just have not been elected yet. So,
well, I'll share a quick story about Horn, and I've shared it before on the podcast. I was living in the northeast of Fort Bend County, and down the road they built a new golf course. Shadowhawk, and the funny thing is, I called to see what the membership dues, like the dues or the initiation fee, and it was like about $250,000 to join this place. I mean, Papa George was there. What's his name? Rocket, the pitcher.
Yeah, that guy
that played for Texas. But anyway,
yeah.
Well, they had a tournament
Roger
called Clemens.
Roger
Yeah, they had
Clemens,
a tournament called the Three Amigos, and I had a neighbor who would go out there and loop on the weekends. And so he asked me, hey, we need some extra guys. Can you help? I'm like, yeah, I'll take a couple of days off work. I'll go loop. So I went there, and it was a Saturday, and this guy pulls up late to his team. And then by the time we get to, I forget what number it was, a par 3, I see Jim Nance, Blaine McAllister, and Freddie Couples. They make up the Three Amigos. And I hear them saying, I hear Jim Nance, and we have John Hoare from Plainview, Texas. And I'm like, what? I didn't realize John was in my group. So I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, John got still there.
Yes.
Yeah, we just lost your video.
Okay, I'm sorry. Lost you. Okay. John was the guy that got Jim Nance the job, I think, with CBS. They were walking by the truck, and some guy comes out of the truck, and the production truck, and John hollers out, "Hey, this guy wants a job." And they hired Jim to go pick up golfers at the airport and drive them back. And so that's how he got on. And another little just aside, the eventual kind of director of CBS Sports, Lance Barrett was the Chamber of Commerce manager over in Florida, and he wound up being the spotter for Pat Summerall on tennis, and he wound up eventually being the producer of CBS Sports. So it's interesting how people wind up at certain places. By the way, on golfers, Chad English, who played at Plainview High School and went on to Hardin-Simmons, is the teaching pro, I believe is his title now, at Shady Oaks in Fort Worth, which is Ben Hogan's golf course. So, we've got some folks out there that have some pretty strong credentials, and eventually may wind up in the Plainview High School Athletic Hall of Honor.
Let's hope that. Well, let's repeat one more time the when everything starts on Friday.
Okay, 4:30 to 6 will be the reception, just an informal reception at the display place, which is at the northwest end of Plainview Junior High, formerly Estacado, and that's immediately south of the stadium on the visitor side of the stadium, if you're picturing that. So come and be a part of that and enjoy the getting to see the folks, the display, and take pictures and visit. And then the induction will be about 6:45 at the stadium. Again, this year it'll be before the game instead of at halftime because of being senior night. And Plainview's playing one of the Wichita Falls teams, Wichita Falls Memorial, I think it is. Wichita Falls combined their schools down there, and I think rebuilt maybe one or two and closed the old Memorial High School, or the old what they call Old High, Wichita Falls High School. So it'll be a great night. Be a chance to see in the football game Miss Seth Mayberry, who's certainly will be on the watch list for the future. He's the all-time leading passer in Plainview High School history with over 7,000 yards passing. So he'd be worth watching. But anyway, it's just it's been a pleasure to get this thing organized and going, and we're not ever going to make everybody happy, but that's just the nature of any project. But we look forward to honoring people year by year as long as I've got good health, and we'll keep moving forward. And
Well,
we
last
appreciate your
question.
publicity. Yeah.
One more question: is there anything going on Saturday morning, or is that just?
No, this is it. Just a brief ceremony. Someone said it sure would have been nice to have a banquet and that sort of thing, but with me living down here and trying to make things happen, that didn't seem to be
it's tough.
A possibility.
Well, Mr. Andrews, congratulations to another successful or soon to be successful Hall of Honor, and we wish you luck and wish everyone safe travels next weekend. So, Lisa, do you have anything else to add?
Yes, no, I really appreciate that you're doing this. I mean, what a wonderful passion project. And I'm sure that when you're out there announcing these folks, that you have a great sense of pride, and it sure makes me proud, our hometown. And I'm just really thrilled that you're doing this. And I'm sure all the folks are back home as well.
Well, I hope so, and appreciate all the committee and all the hard work that goes into getting this done. And but it's what a work of love, I guess, is what you might say. I'm proud of my alma mater, and want to promote it every way we can. And appreciate you guys, the tremendous job you guys do, not only for the athletic program, but just for Plainview High School in general. Y'all are great folks.
Oh, thank you. We appreciate that. And you mentioned once you want to come again and talk about Little League back days when you're umpire. And hey, hopefully you will consider coming on in about maybe the first of the year, and
Michael, I never missed a call while you were playing, so
yeah,
I just want to make sure you understand that.
Yeah, we want to bring in some players to.
Maybe that's not a good idea.
That's right.
Yes.
Well, again, Mr. Andrews, good luck to you, and enjoy your evening. Again, safe travels, please. Everyone going safe travels.
Thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate it.
So please be safe. Good night. Thank you.
Wow, I mean that is. I bet that's a lot of work. I mean, yeah, and I just can imagine, choosing the inductees, and of course, it's like any Hall of Fame or rock and roll football. I mean, people are going to get perturbed because they didn't get chosen, but hey, man, that's plenty more years.
Right. Yeah, well, I'm sure it's a lot of work, a lot of research, getting all the stats, notifying the play, whoever, the inductees and families, and um, I'm sure there's a lot of work behind this, and the fact that he's doing this just because he wants to, and kudos to all the people on the committee that help him bring this dream to fruition to really honor some great athletes from our hometown is a really amazing thing.
Yeah, it definitely is. Well, that was good. That was good. That was STS 30 number 2. That went pretty well. And Tuesday night will be STS 30 number 3 with Rigo and Joanne Ray, who has started up 14 years ago. The haunted house there in Plainview, which I had no idea. And Lisa, you didn't know anything about it either.
No, I looked up their website today and was like, wow, what an operation. It's like something out of Hollywood.
I know, right? So we're gonna have that Tuesday, and then Thursday we're gonna have Raymond Martinez from Hereford. So I guess you consider that the Anglo Red versus Herd 3, or maybe since Robert Braddock's gonna be on it as well, maybe 1-on-1. Raymond played offense, Robert played defense the senior year, so it would be exciting to hear those two guys talk some shit. Sorry. So
Hey, should we have a prize for somebody who can guess what STS 30 stands for?
no, maybe, possibly. We'll think about it. That's a good idea. That's a good idea. But yeah, it's only Lisa and I know what the initials stand for. But that's a possibility. Maybe we'll do it during the Christmas holidays.
We'll see.
Yeah. Well, anyway, Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Peace and love. Peace and love. And we will see you guys next Tuesday. Everyone, enjoy your weekend. Bye bye.